Okay, it's day 99, July 5. Yesterday I was at my sister's house, I'm not counting it, in Northern Virginia. And guess what I'm doing? I'm hitchhiking back to a starting point there at Bootens Gap. I'll hike from Bootens Gap back to here. So, at any rate, once some traffic comes by, I'll be good. My trail crosses right here, but I'm going about 2.5 miles further.
All the views is pretty much going south.
Uh-huh.
Well, north, actually.
North. Just a parking lot.
Okay. Finally got out on the trail, got a ride with some nice people from Portugal. We stopped a lot of the overlooks on the way. I think I got about 13 miles to go. Got several ups and downs. It's supposed to be pretty hot today. So, at any rate, see how it goes. More importantly, the trail ahead. Boy, there seems to be a lot of people in the park today. Of course, it's the 4th of July weekend. Okay, I've ingested enough bugs today. I decided I've carried this dang head net all the way from Georgia. It's time to try it out. Anyway, lady, 71 years old, I think she said she was. She's out for day hiking. She does a website called thelandspeaks.org. I'll have to check it out later. But at any rate, she was telling me that she had a horrible case of Lyme disease and was paralyzed for a while, had to have a caregiver, but now she's recovering back on the trail. And at any rate, I told her she asked me my trail name, and when I told her tick magnet, she like almost jumped away from me. I guess you don't want to tell somebody that's had Lyme disease that you're a tick magnet. At any rate. Okay, it's a little unusual to have a cemetery in a national park. It's called Tanner's Ridge Cemetery. Huh. Guess I can go over and see if I recognize any names. Jenkins is a local name. Huh. Weekly is Weekly Hollow Fire Road. Boy, it's a nice name, Cave. Meadows Gray. Huh. I wonder if that's what Big Meadows is named after. More Jenkins. Interesting. Huh. Let's see, make sure I have some overlap here. Should give me plenty. Okay, so much for the cemetery. Okay, here's just an interesting forest. I thought I've seen a couple of kind of interesting places. Not so much underbrush. Here we have lots of ferns. Bracken ferns, probably. I should keep one out. Okay, so many places in Shenandoah are homecoming for me. And I guess this is kind of where it all started. Back when I was 4 years old, my grandfather had died in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and my mother and my father made the trip to Fredericksburg. And I guess on the way back, my dad and I stopped here at the Big Meadows campground, which is about a mile and a half further up. And I remember, well, it was getting towards evening, and I was 4 years old, and my dad wanted to come down here and see Lewis Spring Shelter, which is one time just behind me. They've torn it down. It was too close to Big Meadows, I guess. So it was kind of late, and I remember being 4 years old. I couldn't walk as fast as my dad, and we were hauling butt down this trail and back, trying to get back to camp before dark. At any rate, 4 years old, my first hike on the Appalachian Trail. It's pretty cool. And then, when I was in high school, I had another really interesting experience here at Lewis Spring Shelter. Chris Scholl and I were hiking buddies at the time, and we were hiking on the AT, and we stopped to spend the night at Lewis Spring Shelter. And they had, I told this story before if you're a regular watcher, they had bunks on opposite sides of the shelter, and I was sleeping on one end, Chris was sleeping on the other end, and in the middle of the night there was a big commotion, and a bunch of people ran into the shelter with their flashlights on, chasing around, yelling and screaming, woke us up. I looked over, saw a big knife coming at me, big shiny blade, stabbing right towards me. Then boom, down it went, and blood went all over the place, all over it went into my face. I remember, and on my sleeping bag. Oh my God. So I thought I had been run through. Chris thought I was dead. He jumped up, ran out of the shelter into the woods. At any rate, I looked over, I didn't feel any pain, and I saw the knife had run through a rat. The rat was still running, even though it was run through. With this knife, it couldn't get away. So I'll never forget that night at Lewis Spring Shelter. It turned out those guys were a group that included a guy I knew and still know to this day, Peter Sprouse, an NSS caver who's now in Texas. He and I did some sort of climbing earlier that year together on Old Rag Mountain. But anyhow, we had a good laugh about it after that night. And every time I see Pete at an NSS convention or caving trip in Mexico or Texas, we laugh about it again. At any rate. Hi there. Come on back here. What you doing? You hiking the Appalachian Trail? Come on back here and have a talk with me. Tell me about your hike. You doing a through hike? Look, I've reached some sort of civilization. Big Meadows campground. I've spent a few nights here. Okay, here's the view today. I'm looking to the north right now. And then down there's the town of Luray, and you can see the gap and the Massanutten Mountains on the other side there. That's New Market Gap. And then coming back around, that's where I was just at Big Meadows. Coming all around that hill there. Anyway, nice day. Okay, here's another view spot. These are called Franklin Cliffs. Yeah. Better than the last one, huh? Luray down there, New Market Gap. That might be the north end of Massanutten Mountain up there. I don't know. Up by Strasbourg. I've been sitting here eating lunch at this rock. I pushed until I was about to pass out. I was feeling weak, faint-headed. But I drank a bottle of Gatorade, ate a big oatmeal cookie, ate some bit of honeys, and ate a big roast beef and cheese sandwich. So hopefully that energy will reach the sources needed and get me up this mountain. Interesting. They say the trail in Pennsylvania is all like this. There's some nice rocks here. There's a crack there. Boy, a lot of nice climbs. Okay, that's the end of day 99. And I got off the trail around 5:15 and was pretty beat. I didn't eat lunch until like 4:15, so I was really out of energy. And so on my drive back to Patrick's house, I had to crash out a little bit and sleep. And so it started to rain, and as it was forecasted to do. So I hope to get back out on the trail tomorrow and finish up another 12-mile section to Bootens Gap, which is the end of the central section of Shenandoah National Park.